Hello, greetings. My name is Derek Pierce. I'm principal at Casco Bay High School. And first of all, we're so grateful that you traveled through hours and hours of traffic to make it to our humble home. This is the home of Casco Bay High School and Portland Arts and Technology High School. We coexist and have since we started to exist 12 years ago. And they are kind of all of that building. And we are the second and third floor and other parts of the building. But we've been happily coexisting now for over a decade and looking forward to a lot more of that. I have some students with me. I have Sharon Praise here. Come on up, guys. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of Casco Bay High School, not knowing how much folks know. I have in front of you, I left everybody a school profile and a couple handbooks to share if you want to go deeper. But I'll give you a little bit of an overview, and then we're going to hear from what the students are up to right now at Casco Bay High School to give you a sense of what project-based learning we've been doing proficiency-based for 12 years. And we've been doing project-based learning, what we call expeditionary learning, for that long as well. And these guys will give you a sense of what that looks like. I'll just give you a couple numbers to frame who we are and what we're about, and then these guys will give the rich stories behind the numbers. So we're about 100 per class. We have a wait list of about 60 families, so we're capped at 100 per class. So a little under that, so that we can be intentionally small and get to know kids richly and deeply, and kids who would like a bigger school can go to Portland or Deering. We have about nearly 50% free and reduced lunch, about 20% English language learners, 15% special ed, so we intentionally reflect the demographics of Portland. 10 of our original 13 faculty members are still here from 12 years ago, which is probably a testament to our greatest strength, which is we have an unbelievably cohesive and talented and vibrant faculty that matches wits with these fabulous students and has helped us maintain a vision towards sustainable excellence that we're super proud of. So a couple just of the concrete things that always people ask about. 98% of our graduates have been accepted to college. Our four-year graduation rate is up to 92%. Our dropout rate has been consistently lower than state and district average. Our test scores in math, science, literacy, most recently and consistently since we've opened, have been defied kind of demographic expectations and are above state and district average 5 to 15% in terms of kids who meet or exceed standards. But most importantly, the kids do great work that matters to the world. And that's really what it's about. And our kind of thesis is that if we can engage kids fully head and heart, if we get them caring about the work they're doing because they care about the people that they're working with and they care about the issues that they're working on, they're going to bring their best work and the skills and knowledge that are essential for kids to be successful in our world today will come along with it. So I'll let you get a little better sense of that by hearing from the kids. And we'll kind of we're going to hear from each grade level a little bit, and then I'll hopefully have some time for questions, if anything, that you want to talk about. And I know when we have lunch at 12:30, we're going to bring in some of our student leaders, and they'll just sit among you and chat more informally too. So there's that opportunity as well. But thank you again for this opportunity. I'm going to turn over to Mr. Gabe Gomez, a freshman. And I'll tell you, we have two culminations going on this week. And culminations are our big kind of ta-das that happen at the end of expeditions. And so the entire freshman class will be presenting their vision for the future of Portland tomorrow at City Hall. So Gabe will tell you a little bit about what that's about.
Thanks, Mr. Pierce. So my name is Gabriel Gomez. I'm a 9th grader here at Casco Bay. And today I'm here to talk about our expedition, which is called Build Community. So as you might have gotten from the name, it's about building community. And it's about teaching others around Portland how to build a better community and teaching us as students how to have a more functioning and healthy community. So we've been doing this for the past few months. I think we started in October, and we started with a kickoff to our expedition. So for the kickoff, we walked around Portland and we split up into groups and we surveyed people on ideas they thought would really benefit our community. And we also went to Morrow's Corner, a big lot behind one of the restaurants there. There's nothing there. It's all torn up. It's not very good looking. And it's a big question in Portland right now, what's going to happen with that area. And we measured out the whole area, kind of got the measurements of the whole thing. And that was our kickoff. So we've been working in every class on different parts of our expedition. In art, we are working on creating a product that kind of represents one of the ideas that we chose that we think will really improve our community. So we've been working on an illustration for that for the past about week, I'd say. In biology, that was really our first class that we touched on the ideas that would benefit our community. We talked about climate change, its effects on our community, and how we affect our community just through usage of energy. So that biology has been a really big kind of push towards the environmental side of this expedition. Then in our humanities classes, English and social studies, we've looked at different types of communities that we weren't really exposed to, or most of us weren't really exposed to, and we saw how they were different from our community that we have right now and how they function. So in English, we read a book about a young Mexican-American woman who is just having some troubles in her own community, and we learned about her community kind of being in, I think she lived in Chicago, being in Chicago, how it was like there. And we also learned in social studies about the Wabanaki, which are the Native Americans of Maine. And we learned about their past. I think we went even 400 years ago. We learned about just their culture coming up to today, and we learned how it's very different from what we have today, and we just learned how that functioned as well. We also looked at the 2005 Portland Vision Statement, which is what in 2005 Portland wanted for our future. So we looked through those ideas, and based on those ideas and the ideas that we heard from our kickoff, we developed a list of different ideas that we thought would really benefit our community. One of those ideas we took for our art project. So that's one of our ideas, is our art project. So we looked at all of those ideas. They fell under 7 different categories, and we chose 1 or 2 ideas that we thought were really important, and we explained why we needed those ideas. And we also explained how we could make those ideas come into effect and how others could help us. So that was our personal vision statement. So actually some of my ideas were to prevent or reduce overfishing, to continue our refugee resettlement, and to buy local. So those were just a few of my ideas. And then we split up into 7 groups, 1 for each category, about 15 kids in each group. And we narrowed down the huge list of ideas from each category, and we came down to 3. I think 1 group had 4 though. So you can actually, and we took those ideas and we made our own vision statement. So that's the Class of 2020 vision statement. So you might have that in front of you, or it's going to pass it out. So you can look at the 7 different topics. You can see our grades, most valued ideas, what most people wanted for our grade. So that's our Class of 2020 vision statement. So in math, for our kickoff, we went to Morrell's Corner and we did the measurements. And throughout all of this research in our humanities classes, we learned how to use scale factor and similarity. So we learned how to kind of make models of different shapes. This is a model of an 8-foot by 8-foot model of Morrell's Corner. It's not completely done yet. We're still working on different parts. But we, as a whole grade, we came up with ideas that we thought would benefit our community just in this area of Morrell's Corner. So you might not be able to see, but we made ideas for the movement that we wanted through it. So roads, we have a train track that goes right by it, walking paths. We came up with environmental ideas using parks, ponds, and then we came up with our build form, or it's called build form. So we came up with the buildings, the heights, just kind of the placing of everything that we thought would best benefit our community. So this is one of our final products that we're going to be presenting tomorrow at our culmination.
Who's going to be at the culmination, Gabe?
We're going to have a panel of experts at our culmination that have the ability to kind of put our ideas into effect. So we're going to be presenting our ideas in our separate groups. So the 7 groups I was talking about earlier, I'm in the economic and commercial business group, and so we selected 3 ideas. So you might be able to see it's second to last category on our list. So I focused on the middle category, which is to build on and add to the strengths of our local waterfront to enhance its positive effect on our economy. So we split up into different roles for our presentation. I decided to be a presenter along with two other my peers, and so I'm focusing on the middle bullet point to present on. So I can actually...
Well, actually, I should probably pause a little bit, make sure we has enough time. We give it up for Gabe, give me a little sense
Thank
of
you.
what's going on the mic there. And yeah, so Gabe will be presenting that with 100 freshmen tomorrow at City Hall, kind of the full vision as well as the completed model. And if you have a chance, you can peek next door. The model's under construction right now, and we got 24 hours to get it done, so it's like Santa's workshop over there. This is Muna, and she'll tell you a little bit about what's going on with the 10th grade. They actually have a culmination, as it turns out, on Friday. So she'll tell you about what she's up to.
Hi, so my name is Mona, and I am a sophomore, and our expedition it's called Africa Rising, where first we chose one of the SDGs of the UN's on the website, and each person just chose whatever they wanted, and I chose energy because I was born in Egypt and I just came actually 2 years ago, and I experienced it a lot with the energy stuff because when I was young, the energy used to cut for maximum 2 hours. After the revolution, it cut all day but these 2 hours. So I just thought it was really important, and then after we choose our SDG, we picked a country in Africa, and I chose Sudan because I knew a lot about Sudan, and Sudan was one of the lowest countries that has energy. And after we decided what country and what SDG, we looked for an aid organization, non-profit aid organization. And while I was doing my research, I found that it was really hard to get energy in Sudan because Sudan was exporting its oil outside. They had few, but they still exported it, and the Sudanese themselves did not have any of this oil. So, and it was under the government control, so I couldn't do anything about that. And I found this aid organization. They give people LPG, which is liquid petroleum gas, stoves. It saves people saves people a lot of money and time. Women sometimes get raped because they go cut the wood, and saves time and climate change. Then after I put all my presentation together, today and tomorrow we have dress rehearsal. And I actually presented today. Some people still presented tomorrow, and this is where we're getting our grades. And then Friday, we are going to be presenting in front of experts. And we're going to be in 7 groups, and then for each group, one person is going to with the best presentation. They're going to present again in the final. And us, the student, we're going to pick 3 of them with the best presentation, and then the teachers would pick one of these 3. And this person is going to get $3,000 to give to the organization. And this money we collected from the Halloween dance we did on October. Yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, that's basically it.
You can see a few of the slides that we created. So she'll have to do about a 10-minute presentation and field some questions tomorrow to try and get her organization. What's the name of the organization again?
Practical Action.
It's called Practical Action?
Mm-hmm. So this is basically how it should look like. And these are my notes, the one I'm going to say. We talked about the issue and the country and the culture first, because we did not want to people to look like the country is so bad and terrible. They have a lot of good stuff. And then we had to have data and graphs. And then I went to my organization, and it's called Practical Action. And yeah, I talked more about the problems and what the organization does. And then they just said,
Give Muna your money. Give her the votes. Give it up for Muna. Thanks, Muna. This is Nori, and she's going to tell you what the junior's been up to.
Hi everyone, my name is Nori Hilton and I'm a junior here at Casco Bay High School. There are 3 major expeditions that we do junior year. The first one, which we've already completed, was called The Air Up There, and it was a project focused on atmospheric chemistry and its relation to global climate change. To culminate, we traveled to the local elementary school, Hall Elementary School, and shared videos we had created about various greenhouse gases with the students there and taught them about climate change. Our next expedition, which we're working on right now, is called Mind the Gap, or Public Policy. Each individual student chooses a societal issue relating to the widening gap between rich and poor in the United States. For example, my topic is agricultural water regulation. And then by February, we present to a board of experts, or a panel of experts, after an extensive research process and creating an outline and writing a white paper and creating a presentation. And then probably the most exciting expedition in all of Casco Bay, junior year, we have Junior Journey. So the entire junior class goes on a trip. And it's usually a different place every year, but we're actually going to the same place that the seniors went last year, which is Detroit. And then while we're there, and when we come back, we create documentaries about our experience working with nonprofit organizations there. So that's pretty much what goes on junior year.
And the juniors, the Fantize class, and Nori will do the same. What they do is teams of juniors interview kind of local heroes in that community. In this case, in kind of that community's renaissance and battle against income inequality. For instance, Fantize class interviewed formerly homeless women who now were employed working in a startup that created jackets that doubled as sleeping bags for the homeless. They interviewed people who had their homes repossessed and then repossessed them back. And they created documentaries of about 4 minutes in length that then they strung together, all 20 of them, to make a full-length movie. So it's a full-length movie that premiered in Detroit and in Portland, and we're sending out to some festivals, and Nori's class will top that, we're hoping, this year. So give it up for Nori, thank you. This is Fan Ty to tell you about senior year.
Hi, I'm Fan Ty, and we just finished an expedition called From Subject to Citizen, and that was in light of the Arab Springs, which is a lot of anti-government rebellions and coups that have happened in the Middle East. And so how we went about this was we split the entire class into different groups that studied different countries in the Middle East. I studied Turkey, for example, and we basically just studied for each country. We studied the different, the state that they were in, and what the government was like, if there were any social movements, and we then individually chose a hero in our country. For example, I studied Khalid Adib Abidar, and these heroes usually promoted positive change in these countries, especially in areas that they were struggling. Like mine fought for women's rights. So in the end, we created a museum that it's actually up in this 3rd floor. Each room was a different, represented a different country, and we created different art pieces that reflected our activists or our heroes. And I guess I have one.
Yeah, get it right.
I have my art. Oh.
Did you plug it in or something?
Yeah, I mean, it has a remote control, and you would see lights that kind of bud or pulse.
It was very cool.
It was very cool. Yeah, and this was really cool. I liked making art. Yeah. So in the end, it turned out to be really great. It was very powerful, and I guess it just informed a lot of our audience about what is happening, which may be overlooked. Yeah. So right now we are starting our senior expedition, which is a student-led expedition. So we get to research what we want, which is very exciting. I'm focusing on the unsustainable dependence on the Earth's resources, especially with deforestation, and that's mainly it. How that's impacting the biodiversity in a lot of different ecosystems. And right now we're in the building blocks of it, so we're just starting our proposal, so it's not completely developed, but in the end we're going to have to showcase what we've been studying as a culmination, just like all the other expeditions we've been doing.
The senior expedition is defined by a couple of our teachers in the most elegant way I've ever heard any project defined, which is the senior expedition should be at the intersection between a personal passion and a need in the world, right? Which is what all of our lives should probably be about. The more we're at that intersection, the happier we're going to be and better our planet might be. And so Fanta and all of her seniors have been challenged to try and find what is that intersection for them and how do they do what we call a slice of the solution, whether they're taking on something like deforestation or homelessness or something massive that no one person can probably solve in a 2-month project, but what is the slice of the solution that they can control and help move the work forward.
Yeah.
So give it up for Fantai. And so we got a couple minutes and we just love to open up for questions about anything you heard or didn't hear that you'd like to know more about.
Questions, folks? Oh, we're not usually quiet. Okay, Wilson.
Why don't you get,
Sorry, I'll butt in next time. Could you speak very briefly about the overall larger movement of EL education?
Sure.
Tell us something about that.
Yeah, so I would say, I've been in Maine and as an educator for 25 years, and it's an excellent organization. Among the organizations I've had the good, luck to work with, it's tremendous. Interestingly, they're not interested. There are 160 schools nationwide. They're not interested in becoming 1,000 schools. They're interested in becoming 160 excellent schools. They are sharing their practices, their literacy and math development practices. Like they're the official literacy program for the state of New York right now. So I think they're interested in spreading their practices, but they're not interested at this point in like becoming much more massive. But I would say, it's an organization that's been an educational reform organization that's been around 25 years, and there's only a handful of organizations that can even say that, sadly. And it's I went to the national conference. We premiered our movie there, a month or two ago, and the organization's robust, I would say.
Great. All states represented, or?
Pretty much. Yep, at urban schools, rural schools, charter schools, public schools, big and small, K-12. And the way they work with us now is we have a coach who comes and works with us 8 or 10 days a year, and there are several other schools, King Middle School among them, in Portland, Presumpscot Elementary School, that we kind of partner with and go visit and just learn from because they're some of our best teachers. It's like kind of a separated at birth situation when you go into another EL high school because there's a lot of the same philosophy, but they've made some different choices that can be really useful for us.
I would love to see the museum.
Yes.
If that's possible.
Well, yeah, no, so the museum does not exist anymore. It was a pop-up museum. We have pieces from it that we can show you. We had to, it took over a third of the school over here.
Oh, it did?
And each, this was Syria was this room and Tunisia was this room, and it was an epic experience. We'll absolutely show you. I'll send you some photos so you have a sense of it. And we had the whole school go through it, and then we probably had about, 200, 250.
A lot of people.
So we probably had about 700 people experience it in its 24 hours of a pop-up museum, so it was awesome.
Yeah, I think you can also go down to the great space and you can see 2 of the big installation pieces.
Yeah, we'll bring one installation piece up so you can see it at lunch.
Great.
And maybe we'll get her thing lighting up too, because it's really cool.
Any other questions, Jane?
Just a comment that you gave the statistics that 10 of the 13 original teachers, so a compliment to the person hiring, and I've understood that you're an excellent leader and you know the students and you know the teachers, and so I think that's a key part also of the working in the school.
Thanks very much, Steve.
Anything else, folks? This is fantastic. You kids, I shouldn't call you kids, you young adults are really an inspiration to us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for giving us the time, and thanks for coming. And we'll see you at lunch.
Okay.
All right, good luck with your meeting.